She had a few moments after taping the last one where sorry, I'm just going to do this with my camera. Um, she had a few moments of clarity after the last episode and definitely wanted to come back. You took some notes, but I'm sure they're in your head, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start with, let's talk about, I want to know, what made you want to do this?
Well, to do this, it's very healing. I wouldn't have been ready to do this right after because, sorry about my voice, it's
Too fresh.
it's too fresh, and to be able to talk about it, it's really hard.
Well, I didn't go to therapy for 5 years after my sister and that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And when I went to her, she was like, "You're just walking around like this? You're okay just out in society?" I'm like,
Yeah, you're not.
I guess
Oh, okay.
I was, but I didn't, so you're not ready right away. You can't see
No.
which way your healing's gonna go.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And another thing, I felt that it gave me more. It gave me more peace, honestly, because I truly wish I had somebody who experienced and made it out for me.
Yeah.
Like for someone to look up to and to talk to, get advice from. I felt like I was getting a lot of advice. I mean, to be honest with you, Courtney, talking to you helped because it gave me. Like,
let me just say the children are in the house. Should have prefaced that.
They're
Sorry.
doing gymnastics upstairs.
Yeah, so if you hear back banging, the construction crew is just working upstairs.
Yeah, but that's appropriate for what I do.
Right, right.
So it just it gave me strength to talk, and I knew it would. When Dan and I were together, he would do videos of me and try to paint a different picture, just like the Gabby and Brian situation. And for me to do this, if anyone were to ever see those awful videos Dan did, you would know, like, the truth behind them. It's just sick. And the court system catches on to that stuff. Like, people who are recording things, and they're calm and collected and acting like everything's good, the court sees them as the fucked up ones because they are. Because if you're truly in a heightened situation like that, the last thought in your mind is, I'm going to record you so someone believes me.
Right.
No, you try to get out.
You're having the panic reactions. You're
Correct.
not having
It's
the
fight or
normal.
flight, not
Yeah.
the, I'm going to record this so I'm believed.
Right.
And
Usually the abused person starts recording when they realize that they need to get out and they need some proof and they need
an alibi.
like some help. Yeah, that makes sense though. I mean,
It does.
it's just not your
when
first
you think
reaction.
about it, yeah.
It's not your first reaction.
And then when they record you and you're having a completely normal reaction to being abused and you want to get away for survival, it makes you panic even more.
Yeah.
And that's how you look so crazy because it's just a healthy response because no one saw what happened before.
Right.
Right.
So you can't judge that without knowing the whole spectrum of things.
Do you
And-
feel like a certain amount of relief from letting this story out of your body?
I do, 100%. Like I called the city of Ionia and I asked for the tapes of that night because one day when Victoria's older and she wants to start dating, and I explain the whole truth of
How to trust
Dan
people
and how to trust people. She's gonna hear
Be a tool for you.
exactly. And you know what? I didn't really know I was recorded at all. But when I wasn't supposed to be communicating with Daniel, he told me his lawyer played that for him, and he couldn't believe how awful of a situation and how scary it was. He's like, I was scared for you, but I can't.
like listening
believe-
to the tape.
Yeah,
he was
listening
scared
to
for
the
the
tape.
person on the
He
tape.
was scared for the person in the tape, even though it was me, and what he was doing to us, Victoria and I. He couldn't believe how real it was. And then in the same sentence, he looked at me and said,
thing. You're not gonna make up something that's about your child.
Oh,
Like,
God, no.
you may make up, not you, but people may make up things to, whatever, get over in a relationship.
Right.
But that's not gonna be something that you make up about your child.
Right.
That's where you see the insanity in it.
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't tell people that story about what happened to my child if it weren't true.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, why would you even say things like that about your kid
Yeah.
if it weren't true?
Yeah.
Like, how would you even make that up in your head? Like, you don't think those things about your own child.
Right. Like Victoria can't wear a mask to this day because of the whole suffocation thing. How do I make that up? How does that trigger?
How do you make up the response the day you came into the shop? Because sometimes she comes to my house and sometimes she comes to my shop.
That's right.
And you're at the shop and you're like, do I have to put on a mask? I never even thought about your trauma
No,
in the
that-
mask thing.
No one
And-
does.
Well, it wasn't even that I wasn't like trying to put myself in your shoes. It was just all like this new shit to us, like these mandates and like all this
Right.
mask stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's right. Like, no, you don't have to wear a mask in here.
Especially when you inhale and it comes at you.
But like,
That's, you know what I mean? Like,
Right?
people don't get it.
Yeah.
you are near me and somebody says something to you about a mask, I'll fuck them up.
Right.
From that point on, I was like, oh,
I got you. It's okay.
yeah, don't worry about anybody in here,
Yeah.
because none of my girls are gonna make you. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody would.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've gotten
totally
scolded at before.
Right, but not in
Yeah,
my
not
shop.
in your
you,
shop,
you know what I
no,
mean?
never.
Them girls,
And it's not disrespectful. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, people are, because they're just so vain and they're disrespectful. It's like, no,
You have no
bitch.
idea.
There's a lot more to people than face
Right,
value.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, up until this point, I would have no problem wearing a mask. You know, but, like, probably in a few years,
no.
you know what I mean? It's too
And
fresh.
if you were like, oh, I'm about to go clean this cat litter box. Oh, I have a mask. Strap it on. Like, if you made the choice to not inhale cat urine,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But for
Right.
somebody to tell you have to wear this all the time in public, which we're not going on a political standpoint or anything.
No.
Just, we're going to
Don't
address
get
it
me
in
It's
started.
an emotional.
like, I just want people to realize that it does trigger her, and that for her to be out there and people to see her without a mask, people think she's an asshole.
Right.
She's an asshole.
Oh, and yeah, and that I'm a bad mom. Like, I took Victoria to the eye doctor. Okay, because she goes every 6 months. The one lady, I walked in and she's like, "Wow, Mom, how come you're not doing the right thing and having a mask on your child?" I looked right at her and I said, "Okay." I said, "Do you want to trigger a response from her because of what my ex-husband did to us? Go right ahead.
You
But I'm
tried-
not fucking traumatizing her any more than he did. I'm good."
What did the look on that woman's face say?
She just looked at me like I was making it up.
Oh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
If somebody
like-
said it to me, I'd be
Right.
like,
Here's a
yeah.
mask. Go ahead and try it. Let's see what happens.
I'd be
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, like make my fucking day.
You know what I mean? If it were me, I'd
Yeah.
be like, ugh.
Yeah, no, she didn't even, she just looked at me like, whatever. Like she thought I was,
Whatever.
like I'm not just doing it to be a jerk. I'm not.
Well,
Right.
the whole thing is not until like 2020 was it even relevant what other people's opinions of you were. You know what I'm saying? Like it became more apparent that like people are judging other people. But I think that was almost kind of good for you
Yeah.
because it felt so bad to you that you're like, nope, I'm gonna stay right here in my lane. And if somebody wants to fuck with me on it, they can come at me, but I'm in my lane, staying right here,
Right.
doing my thing. So I think it was good for you because it gave you something to feel like you were going to take some power back.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah.
something for you to stand strong on. Like, no, this
I'm
makes
not
me
going
feel
there.
bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to make myself feel bad.
Right.
So I think it was kind of good for you because it gave you a little bit of a voice over something.
It did. So when I called Public Safety of Ionia, I told them, I asked them, you know, I told them the date and stuff, and I said, you know, can I have those recordings? And she said, well, the person's on vacation. I'll have to call you back next week and let you know. And I said, okay. I get it. I didn't know if they had to subpoena that or not. But he heard it, and it kind of pissed me off that, how could you hear something that was so, like, so...
No. The microphone's right here. Thank you.
Sorry.
Come here.
That was so, I mean, as much it just feels like it was something else he was taking from me.
Yeah.
That I wanted for clarity. Because I never want to forget. Part of me doesn't want to forget.
No.
Because I never want him to try to come back. Because he knows how to get me. He knows what to say to me.
But-
Not that I would let
But
it
if
happen.
you have done all these steps, put your arm down. If you have done all these steps to make yourself feel better,
Yeah.
therapy, being on the podcast, and like we've talked about a couple other things that she's gonna try, you're not gonna be at a point where you want him.
Right.
No, I never.
No, not that
Honestly,
you do,
Yeah,
but you're not. Whether you remember exactly that feeling or not,
that's true.
you're gonna be in a place where you're like, I can do better.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if he came around and was trying to act great,
right. That's true.
you're at a point, or
Well,
you will
'cause-
be at a point where,
I wouldn't be where I am now if he was still in my life.
right.
There's no way he'd let me have what I have now.
Right.
I mean, God forbid, he'd get in trouble again and make us sell it.
Yeah.
Like
It
mean,
would be a
within 5
perpetual.
years, he made us move 7 fucking times.
It would be a perpetual cycle
Yeah, it's
of
just.
bullshit.
So
Alright,
she
stop,
called me.
dogs. Stop.
So she called me yesterday.
No licking.
The lady from public safety. I forgot about it in a way, and I just thought.
Well, I'm glad
they
you're not
weren't gonna
dwelling
do
on it. Yeah, I'm glad you're not dwelling on
And
it.
she called me, and she's mailing it to me.
Oh, no.
I was so happy. She's like, "You can come pick them up." I'm like, "Well, unfortunately, I'm not in Ionia anymore. Like, how much do I have to pay you for you to mail them?" She's like, "You're fine. There's no way we could do that, but we'll mail them." Like, there's no way for her to accept payment.
Yeah.
But she says, "I'll mail them to you as soon as I can." I said, "This really means a lot to me. I feel like I got a piece of what he stole."
I hope that she looked through that file or listened to that video and was like, oh, we're helping this girl.
Oh, she
right.
did. You know why? Because when I was on the phone with her, I heard my voice.
She pulled him
I heard
up.
my voice. She pulled him up. Because I know, I'm all about fucking dates. So I told her the date. I told her the address, everything like that. She pulled him up, and I could hear my voice. And honestly, I think it's really important for Victoria to know. You know, there are sheeps in wolves. Like, what is it, wolves? Clothing? Yeah. Like, she needs to know that because the way my parents
No.
raised me, I didn't know
There's
that.
wolves in sheep's
Wolves
clothing.
in sheep's clothing.
Not a sheep.
Dumbass.
We want a sheep in wolf's clothing. That's my husband. He's a sheep in wolf's clothing. He looks like a badass, but inside he's sweet. No, you want, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, but it felt so good to hear that.
For
they
somebody to
were
give
gonna
you a
say
yes.
that. Yeah. For something so personal. I mean, it's so personal. And for him to have that over me, to be able to listen. Because I never thought in a million years I was recorded. Like, I literally sat down with them and I was convincing them not to get Dan in trouble. That he knows so many people, that I tried to leave him before, and all his connections, and all that bullshit. Like,
So
that
is this
just made him.
hold on, I want to back up and ask, is this the interview or is this a 911 tape?
It's the interview after
Okay.
the.
Is it cam or is it,
the house, right?
is
I
it
don't
audio?
know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just audio or if it's.
Well, I was on
too.
cam.
Were you really?
Yeah, those cops were wearing body cams. They were
It might
training.
be
They
cam.
were training somebody.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm really happy that there was a plea deal involved in our, not a deal because it was just a plea. He didn't get a deal, but because I would have had to watch all of that.
Right?
Oh God.
No, you can go lay down.
I love you.
Elizabeth is the weak link here with these dogs, just so
I know.
right now.
I love
She literally before we started this tried to convince me to give her my dogs.
I just said if you ever get rid of them, I will home them
No, but
forever.
I really
I'm
love
kidding.
them. I love your dogs. Like I understand that they're not leaving.
And that makes me happy
Hold on.
too.
A couple of people watching this are gonna be like, Scarlett's mine. Get off my dog.
I already called.
And I don't know. My mom wants her bad.
Aw, you saved her.
I did not intend on them being part of the podcast.
Oh, but their therapy. You know what's funny? For the sentencing, they told me, well, we can get a therapy dog, and then I found out because I'm an adult, I'm over 16, that they couldn't do it. But the prosecutor made some connections, and I had a dog.
Aww.
I was so happy. I was like, oh baby, this is my puppy. I wanted to take it home. But
What
no,
kind of dog was it?
it was a yellow lab. beautiful. Yeah, I was really happy. Sorry,
No.
off subject.
Outstanding.
But no, it felt really good yesterday. I got the call and she remembered, and she is mailing them to my house. So when Victoria gets older, I can play that for her. Because honestly, I think it's really important. Just in case, if he, God forbid, if he ever tries. I mean, there's only a few more years of his no contact order.
Can you re-up
technically.
it or redo it?
I don't know. I really don't know. I wish I did.
I'm sure you could.
But at the same time, they're going to
Scarlett.
see the environment I have her in, and they're going to see in the environment whatever he's in. And I'm telling you right now, no. I mean, she's going to be in private school next year. She's in dance. Like, she is
You don't have a
living
record.
the best life. But to the court size, it doesn't matter. That's how screwed up. Like, I
Right,
can
but if
understand
he's
if
getting
Dan.
in trouble continuously between then and now, or then.
Oh yeah, like he didn't make it past, like the whole plea deal he took on us, right? He was told to stay out of trouble, blah blah blah. He fucked up. So
He went back to jail, right?
he had to go back because the plea deal was null and void then. Okay.
He can't help but get himself in trouble.
Correct. And then I'm telling you right now, whatever he's doing, where he is right now, he's on another plea deal because God forbid he take accountability for anything he fucking does.
In service time, yeah.
And that's part of the problem. I mean, the court system, I can understand if somebody fucks up, okay? When a person legit wants to change and make things better,
She's gonna make room. Why
They
don't you
might-
just
okay.
go over?
it's okay, I can be close to
She
you, right?
doesn't take no for an answer.
She's a, well, that's fine. People are like, oh, they're so vicious. No, they just know what they want and they love it.
She's just a bullheaded
I
girl.
love you.
Alright, so,
Sorry.
not that I don't wanna talk all about Dan, but I do
Yeah.
wanna know, like, what do you think you gained from the first episode?
Strength. Strength in healing. I really feel, I feel stronger. I feel more believed, even though, yeah, it feels good to have a voice, even though I'm embarrassed how I talked the first time because I felt like I would explain things and then other things would jump out.
Can I just tell you the one feedback I had was, like, you sounded like an abused woman. Like, you sounded like a survivor. Like,
Oh, really?
my girlfriend said, like, she sounded like she was trying to get people to believe her because she was used to thinking people wouldn't believe her. Like,
Yeah.
she saw you as an abused woman, not as a liar. She saw the trauma there and the fact that you were raw. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh, she didn't make sense. Nobody's like, oh, what was she doing?
That's what I saw, but I could only watch a little bit and
That's
I'm
because
like,
you're
oh
overly
my
judgmental
God.
on yourself.
So
That's the hardest part about going through what I went through, was being believed.
okay, so I am going to say that your episode, besides our episode, which has been up the longest, obviously, we did that one first. Hold on a minute. Okay, so, I gotta go back. Oh, you're not on this. Shame, Courtney. I didn't get you on Anchor yet, because remember the audio died, which is why I have the computer over here. So we gotta go to YouTube.
Oh, you're kidding.
I know where she's going with this. It's about the views and everything.
Alright, so I'll read them to you. So our episode on YouTube, I didn't know how to edit. So our first episode was in 2 parts.
Oh, nice.
So it doesn't actually show that on here. There it is. So nobody watched it evenly. It was 84 views on the first part and like 52 on the second. Like, I don't know, people didn't realize. So then I reloaded it and it had 27 as a full.
Oh, that's so cool.
But you for sure, the day it came out, was popping. Me and Lynn were texting all day.
Oh, really?
It had the
Aw.
most views out the gate. It has 4 views less than our highest guest. 5 views less than our highest guest. But hers has been out 5 months and yours has been out 1 week.
Holy shit.
A lot of people were listening to it, and people who, like one of my feedbackers has never I don't think she's ever been through anything like this, and she said, I didn't have time to listen to this morning, because I loaded it at like 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
She's probably getting ready for work. She goes, but I got sucked in. She's like, I was crying, like, I feel so bad for her. Fuck this guy.
Oh my God.
Like,
It's not even the half of it, but that's really sweet.
no,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
it's gripping to people, and it's real. It happens a lot. I think yours is more of an extreme case, like, but I think he probably had a lot of these early on warning signals, like Brian Landry or Laundry or whatever the frick his name
yeah.
is. Like,
I see it now, but then, I mean, until I got pregnant with Victoria and had her, I was just like, oh, he had a fucked up childhood, and I was so sheltered, and I had a really good life. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I'll make it better. He'll love it.
Can
Like, that's how
we-
fucking dumb I am.
can we talk about your upbringing a little bit without like
Going into detail.
going into detail, but like,
I'm just kidding.
do you think that you were kind of raised to believe that like people were good?
Yes, I was raised to believe. Okay, so when I was growing up, my parents instilled in me that everybody out there, once you get married to somebody, they're gonna love you, they're gonna cherish you. No matter how hard it gets, you stick it through. No matter what happens, you have their back. No matter what, they're gonna love you. You're gonna go through tough times, but they will never betray you. And I'm telling you right now, what Daniel did to me is the worst betrayal ever. Like, people talk about their spouses cheating on them and stuff. Honestly, that to me is just a dumb mistake. Like, people fuck up and make mistakes. Like, that to me is nothing compared to the betrayal of pretending to be everything I want and then slowly stripping me of that and pretending I'm the answer to your prayers and pretending I'm the best thing that's ever happened to you and then stripping me of that title.
You were fully
That, to
not
me-
prepared for that at all.
Fuck no. Like, honestly, I feel like I was sucker punched and taken, like, everything taken away from me in seconds. Just
So-
because of that.
I don't want to like out all your personal business, but
No, it's okay.
you were married
You're good.
before,
Yep, he was a saint compared to Daniel. I'll tell you
but
that.
he was at the time he was a piece of shit. So you get out of that relationship. You literally spend like 2 years licking your wounds.
3, yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Like, don't date, not partying. Like, let me get my shit together.
Yeah.
Let me like.
Be me.
It was
Be me.
2011 when I got divorced from my first husband, and then I met Daniel in 2015, so it was like,
Literally, did you have any like major boyfriends in that time?
I did. I did. One of the guys I went to high school with, I dated him pretty good, but,
But for the most part, you were just.
but for the most part, I was
Working.
just working on myself, taking care of business.
So she thinks that she's gonna go back out into the world, and that
I
she
still had hope.
that she still had hope, but she was making better decisions. Sorry, I'm telling part of your story for you because I feel like I've known you through the whole fucking thing.
It's okay, you're doing very good.
Thank you. I feel like I've known you through all of this, and like, he wasn't great, but it wasn't the worst thing that you've ever been through now at this point. But you really felt like you did the right thing. You don't jump from relationship to relationship.
No.
You kind of soul search in between. You analyze things, but you did have a little more hope for Dan than you should have. But you go back out into the world still thinking that people are good. Yeah, some people are bad. People have problems.
Yeah,
At that
we all
point-
do. Yeah.
At that point, you accept, like, okay, he was fucked up, but he had some problems. He didn't
Yeah,
have
we
a
all
great
do.
upbringing. He
But the
didn't have.
thing, and I have problems too, and he accepted me for the way I am. I'm a pain in the
Right.
ass.
You still had hope and all of that. So you, because I obviously would be like, Elizabeth, this is a bad decision. You just broke up with that last guy who was a piece of shit. Like, obviously, I would have chirped that in your ear.
Oh yeah.
But you're like being a grown up and like,
Yeah, I still knew what I wanted.
yeah, doing life in between. So it's like, you know, and then I hear that you're talking to this guy whose dad's a jerk. Okay, so like that's what I heard to clarify my shout out from last week. Like, I just heard that the dad was kind of a jerk.
But I didn't see his dad for those true colors ever.
But she didn't really know Dan either.
Yeah, no, but I even said to Lisa, oh, he's so much better than his dad. Like, blah, blah, blah.
And Lisa said,
And-
I hope so.
Yeah, she was really sweet about it.
She
but
was
I
like, I
so
hope
fucking
so.
Down. Yeah.
I hope so.
I think she
So
already
it's
knew.
not like it was all these. What I'm trying to get at is how somebody can use this to analyze something else around them.
Correct.
Whether it's their own relationship or,
So they're not getting stuck in the same
right.
Yeah.
situation.
And I think that the difference is, my last relationship before my husband was not the greatest, long relationship. And when you get into a new one, you're constantly waiting
For the shoe to drop.
for the shoe to drop, for you to be like the last asshole.
Yeah.
And every time, like with my husband, I would wait for that. It never happened.
That's beautiful.
But like, there are signs. Children are just gymnastics.
No one's head came through the.
No, they're good.
Very
There's pads on the ground.
No one's crying.
I hope you guys can hear it because it's loud.
I'm sure.
You know what I mean? There are little steps when you're in a relationship. Like if you feel like you're, say A, B, or C, or treat me however, and then he never does, you're like, what's wrong with this guy?
You know, why isn't he yelling at me?
Right,
Why isn't he accusing me of this?
right.
Right.
So that would be my biggest advice to somebody on identifying or what to do with flags or identifying flags. Like if you have a trigger point or a experience that you're waiting for to replicate itself and it doesn't, that's where you put your energy.
Right.
You know, like you keep doing the same lessons until you get the learning done. And if you don't do the learning, you're just gonna keep doing the same shit.
That's a vicious cycle.
It's a vicious cycle. So if you find yourself caught in that cycle, start to take notes. Journal stuff.
Yeah, if you write it down, you'll see it.
You'll see the patterns more easily. Like even just for stupid stuff like girls' periods or migraines. Like you can't remember.
What you ate that day.
Right.
Or,
Yeah, like
Right.
or how, you know, everything. How much water you drank. Like life is too busy to keep track of everything.
Well, not just that though. They also, people like Dan, they convince you that your train of thought is so fucked up. Like they brainwash you to think that what they're doing is healthy and normal in every relationship, and then you start questioning like your sanity. And that's why to write it down.
Right.
Don't cut yourself off, because you stay on top of it. Like, no, I'm not wrong.
Right.
I can't tell them that because you don't want to die, but at the same time, you have to stick to your.
You're like,
Don't let go of
Beliefs.
who. Yeah. Oh
so
yeah.
in your head, you're like, okay, so my parents raised me one way, you're this way. I know the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Exactly. So I gave him a lot more yes, and I thank you for that. Because.
Thank you for clarifying my thoughts. This has been great.
Yes, that's when.
I love you guys.
But I also think that me and Lynn are two good people to talk to people about this because we both are blessed with very healthy marriages.
Yeah,
Like-
you get to see it.
She didn't look very long. I looked a long damn time, and we both ended up with something pretty similar.
Yeah.
I mean, your sons look like they could be brothers.
Right.
That's different. That's not the point.
We did
but,
have twin kids 2 years apart and separate
or they
rooms.
swap.
Right.
No, just kidding.
Shout out
Sorry.
to Gavin and Cole. But like, I feel like we are examples of somebody who have good men in their lives, and men take a shit ton of criticism and heat. Me too. Like all this stuff. Like people. I'm not saying there's not bad dudes out there, but there's still a lot of good ones left.
Bless you.
I'd like to meet one.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta keep waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting.
Oh yeah.
And maybe you are supposed to learn the things that you're supposed to learn so you're ready for him.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But I'm telling you what's better than any therapy, and I don't care what anybody says, like, especially if you're, like, strong emotionally, like, to have somebody who doesn't tear you down, who loves you and accepts you, is, like, better than any therapy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, honestly, like, if I had that right now, I couldn't even tell you how much stronger.
Well, that's why we both made it 5 years before we went to therapy.
Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Do you know
because
that
you had someone.
Do you know that I made her go?
I'm glad you
We had a phone conversation. I was like, I cope better with my sister's murder than you do.
did. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Like-
it was like a time I'm like, listen, I'm crying all the time. What am I doing?
I'm like, you need to get your shit together.
I'm gonna send you the number, and you're gonna call
And
her.
I just started seeing Tammy, and I said, I did this once, and I feel better. It's at least a start. It's at least a start. It's not gonna. Not everything's gonna cure you.
No.
So
no.
Elizabeth has done
EMDR.
EMDR with Tammy.
Yeah.
Last time after the podcast, we had a discussion. Obviously, we talked before and after we taped this for you guys. We were outside, and I feel like she needs to do more energy work. So we were talking about like her focusing on doing more Reiki. EMDR works for generally anybody, but we feel it had a huge impact for us because we already like moved our energy through our body and we're in tune with our own energy.
We've already felt our energy moving through our body and getting it to move
Where it needs to
through,
go.
right, through breathing through
So
all kinds of stuff.
I feel like upon pondering it, the reason that that helps is because what's stuck in you is not your energy.
Right.
So identifying your own helps you realize what's an invader.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, that ain't me. That's like a dead spot, or like it's where you store energy. Like you have an imprint of that energy from that time on your energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like cemented on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be. EMDR will loosen it, but you got to learn how to identify your own so you know what's natural and what's not. Does that make sense?
That's a valid point. Yeah, because I couldn't tell you.
Now, I also feel like Reiki teaches how to root yourself to the earth. And
Is that supposed to be on? Oh.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
God bless America. Alright, I'll fix it later.
Did it just stop?
Yep.
It just stopped all by itself.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Whatever, my editing is a hot mess, and
That's
I didn't
okay.
upload Elizabeth's episode to Anchor, to the audio, but I think I could port it out of the editor, so I'll try to do that tonight, port both of them into the Anchor.
I'm sorry,
It's a hot mess electronically around here.
You're doing brilliant.
Thank you.
I love your commercials.
That's her sexy voice when she gets ready.
That's my official announcer
Into the
voice.
microphone.
No, Jody would punch me.
That's
This is my
and this is after hours with Courtney.
This is my official announcer voice.
Hey, let me go get all those singles
Is that
you gave
Mitch
me earlier. Make it rain.
Make it rain. I did give her change in a stripper.
Hey, at least we got the dancing to cover us. We can make it work.
That's all.
But I feel like you feel lighter to me since the first episode,
Yeah.
energy wise.
You do.
I feel like
I panicked a little after I did it. Like, oh my god, is he gonna find out? Is he gonna come and find me? Is he gonna like post all those videos of
I
me
will
and,
tell
like,
him
destroy
to
it?
his face he's a piece of shit. It's not something that we're hiding.
Yeah.
We're not hiding.
I don't want to
that he's a
hide
piece of
anymore.
shit.
Like honestly, I can't wait to have like a Facebook again and like and be able to put myself up.
I feel like you could go and meet a girlfriend for a drink at a bar.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's not something you feel like you could do.
Yeah. Like when she goes to school, I'm gonna have to tell them you can't just post my kid's picture online.
No, there's a waiver. You
Yep,
have to
there's
sign
a
it
waiver you have to sign every year.
every year.
Yeah.
Whether you will let them take pictures and use them. They will take pictures of your kid,
Yeah.
but whether they use them.
Yeah.
Yep, they won't put them on without your permission.
That's good.
Yep.
Honestly, if you saw her today, you wouldn't even recognize her.
That's good.
You wouldn't.
Um,
She's too fucking pretty.
She is.
So I feel like this is the point of our podcast. Like, we don't ever think that we're gonna be like major international.
Like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, we're gonna be the next Joe Rogan.
Oh my god.
I just
Tell Jody. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I said Joe would be the next Joe Rogan.
I know, I'm just kidding.
I just really
I don't know who that is.
What?
Okay, we're gonna have That's what the conversation after the taping ends is going to be about, is what Joe Rogan is doing. We'll get her up to speed, people, I promise.
We'll get you there.
But the whole point was, I started this to take my voice back. Because I had a lot of things that just rolled around in my fucking head that I wanted to say all the time. And I feel lighter personally. So after we did one, which Lynn was like a robot in the first one, she was all nervous and like,
Well, she asked me that day, you want to do this with me? I'm like, okay, sure.
well, there's nobody else
Figure it out.
there's nobody else I could do it with. And when I realized that, like, you needed therapy more than I did, and I thought, well, I feel like this is going to be good for me. So it's got to be, what's good for my goose is good for her gander.
Right.
Like,
So nice for you to.
whatever we're
Come
doing,
across
we're doing
that.
it fucking together.
Right.
She can't get rid of me. We've been
No, we can't
audited
live
by
without
the
each
IRS together.
Yeah.
Do you have a restraining order?
Together? No. We've been audited at the same time.
No
like,
shit.
as a team.
Yeah.
Okay.
The government's under your
Have you
ass.
ever yelled at the IRS lady and then had to call your best friend and be like, sorry, I just yelled at the IRS lady?
She's probably calling you next. Good
She's
luck.
probably not going to be in a very good mood after
Like,
I
thanks.
yelled at her.
Thanks,
I asked
Mark.
her how she sleeps at night. Shout out to that bitch in Detroit. You're lucky I don't protest. Wait till my 5 years of being watched by the IRS is up, because you will be in trouble.
Right?
I felt so good after this. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should sue Macomb County for them making me go back to Dan because they believed the con artist.
That's the
That's
thing.
sad.
Trust me.
Well, no, but that's good, because she thought she had the balls to sue a whole county.
Right? I mean, that part's good. It's bad what happened.
But
I mean, honestly, if I'm telling you right now, if they didn't do what they did, if the neighbors didn't do what they did with this whole isolating coronavirus bullshit, we would never fucking survived it.
Right.
I mean, we weren't even.
oh
it
god,
wasn't
I didn't even think about you being stuck in his house with
fucking
corona.
A.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I
Like,
live in-
honestly, it was like.
I would have been on this side of the state, like fucking stressed the fuck
We would have
out.
been
Yeah.
dead. Dead. It, honestly, for like
And
weeks.
hey, I
before we
realize
found
I
out.
don't have either of your parents' phone numbers.
Well, what the fuck?
I need
Well, I'll
one.
give you my brother's too, because he's sane.
Okay, give me your brother's or his wife's.
Stepmother.
No, okay,
Yeah.
so listen. The last time she leaves here, now my PTSD
I'm
involves.
sorry.
I know, and I didn't want to tell you triggered me because I couldn't do that to you after you left here. But
It's
it
okay.
was dark. It was like rainy, right? Kind of gross.
Yeah, it was gross out.
And she
yeah.
takes her baby home. So I'm like, text me when you get home. Now you don't, but I didn't worry about you. So I'm going,
Brian would have called you if something
I
happened.
have your husband's
Yeah,
number, I
like,
have
where
your
is
mother's
she?
number.
Yeah.
You get
Right.
home, there's 87 people that live in your house. So you're not like, oh, I gotta text Cordy.
Right.
Plus, you'd shiv a motherfucker.
I would.
I would stand behind her in a fight, okay? So, she's stronger than me. So I texted her. Did I text you twice that night?
You did. I feel bad because
So she puts her baby to bed and falls asleep.
Yeah, I just fell asleep cuddling her because I was tired too. You know,
Now,
worked
I
It's
together.
emotional, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't go into full-on panic mode, but I thought, if this bitch doesn't text me back tomorrow, I don't have a family member's number.
Yeah, you didn't even have my new address.
I don't have anything. I can't save you.
I'll
That was my
have to
thought. I
give-
was like, I can't save her.
have to give it to you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'll give
I
it-
didn't
yeah.
need all your deets.
It's good.
And if that motherfucker thinks he's getting them, I'll carry all the time. If he starts going around, I'll shoot him.
Yeah, you
That's
don't
not
never-
premeditation. That's just, I'm saying.
That's just a fact.
I'm saying. I owe Dana $11. Shout out to Dana.
Oh my god.
Like, I can't. No, I'm learning to deal with it. Okay? There was one day I walked in the back door at the salon, unlocked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
I come in, Marty's car's out there. I had been there an hour earlier, my client canceled, forgot. I went and washed my car, came back, her car's still there. I like crap up in this bitch. Front door, 2 people standing there, doors locked. One's my client, one's Karen's client. Would have panicked more if it was Marty's client. But I was like, I went in every room like, Martha, Marty. And her purse wasn't there, which would have alarmed me if her purse had been there.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I unlocked the door and I said to both the clients, like, my PTSD is not going to allow me to work until I make sure that Marty's next door eating at the restaurant. So I went next door and I was like, oh, here you are. She looked at me like, what? I'm just eating.
Enjoying your food. I'm over here freaking
She
out.
did her daughter-in-law's hair and then they went next door.
Okay.
So she just left the front door.
Oh.
And she thought I was a freak, but
No, because
I-
she's never been in that experience. She's never experienced it. And people that don't go through this, they're so fucking fucking clueless.
We
Yeah.
don't we
Like,
don't
my
go more than
parents
a
are
couple
even
days
clueless.
without like at least
Checking
texting
in.
back like I'm
Yeah.
alive. Not I'm alive, but just hey. My dad recently told me if it goes more than 3 or 4 days, he's not gonna be happy with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
The
even my
kids are really
sisters.
quiet upstairs.
Probably watching a show.
Okay, good.
I locked the front door. I bolted it. And
Oh,
everything.
thank you, because she knows how to unlock. Okay, perfect. I have a hotel
Tessa would
lock on
tell
my front
us.
door.
Tessa would be like,
She
Bitch,
just
I'm
went to my
outside.
door.
Sorry.
No, if I text my sisters and they don't respond, I freak out a little because I know their situations are not good.
Oh yeah.
So I start freaking out, and then I'm like, Ma, did you talk to this one? Did you talk to that one? And she'll be like, oh yeah. I'm like, okay.
Are they,
Right.
do they have social media, your sisters?
Yeah.
Well, that's huge, because I wasn't allowed to have that.
No.
We ever, except for the family group Facebook that lasted a few months. It was like 2 months, not even 2 months.
Yeah, they had a joint one.
Fucking joke. Fucking joke that was.
That's nuts.
Which I know a couple people who have a joint one.
No, but for the reasoning behind why he had it. And not that it was joint. It was the
He was trying to
reasoning
look
why
like a
he
good family
he
man.
was trying to look good. So if I were to ever say, hey, this is what's going on, he'll be like, oh no, look at Facebook.
Right.
Perfect. It's like
Because Facebook is always true.
fucking count
Right?
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Fact,
Zuckerberg.
right?
Yeah, no
Fact,
shit.
fact checker. Fact check that, buddy.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
So I really I felt like the importance of this episode was like for people to see your face and like that you felt better. That, like the next morning she texted me. Well, first of all, she's like, I'm alive. Sorry, I fell asleep. Don't be upset. Don't think I'm dead. Was kind of the first thing we did exchange, and then it was that same first day where you were like, oh my god, I feel so much better. I had a whole bunch of thoughts. I took some notes. Like your brain was clicking because you removed that first level of bullshit.
No, you're right. Yeah.
So, and this has been the progression for me. Like, I felt like I removed that level of bullshit, and then I was like, I had some ideas. And then, like, I would talk to the therapist about those ideas. And then I was talking to her about this podcast. She goes, why don't you just do something? Any of those ideas. Because I didn't have the bullshit fog in my head of all
The
my
trauma.
feelings and my emotions and the trauma, like, circling and cycling. Like, I felt like getting them out gave me space to think about other things.
I always had clients talk to me, even your clients, they'd come to me and be like, she is going to have a mental breakdown, and you need to watch her. And I'm like, I'm watching her.
And I'm gonna have one too. Thank you.
Do you- There,
That's crazy.
a girl that I know called a friend of mine and said, I don't think she's coping properly.
Yeah, but at the same time, not everyone. I like when people are like, oh, they're not coping properly. Well, everyone copes a little different, but
There's no handbook on anything that any of us have been through.
exactly.
I mean, maybe there might be one for you, closer. At least a bitch who's wrote a book about it.
Right?
Right? Or something, but like,
I wish I could write a movie.
right?
Good.
Fuck yeah.
You could.
Spielberg.
I don't think I could watch that movie.
I was just gonna.
I don't either.
I don't know.
But it would be worth making.
I don't know. But
I want to play myself.
No.
I don't, there's no right way, but there's a path that people take for all different problems. Like, I chose early on not to let that murderer fuck with me. I chose, well, first of all, I had a baby inside of me, so I had to keep it together, which people were probably thinking I was going to lose it after that.
Oh God, yeah.
After she had the baby, they
Oh,
all
yeah.
thought she was gonna have an emotional
Yeah.
breakdown.
Oh yeah, 'cause then the baby's not in her anymore.
Yeah.
There's no reason to keep it together.
Yeah.
Being the person that keeps everybody together makes me feel really good. And makes me feel better than any drug would. Well, I knew that if I fell apart, my parents would.
Right.
I knew if I wasn't okay, she wouldn't be okay. It was like a ripple effect. I tried to quit my job, and I'm sorry if I've told these stories before. I went in and told the girls at the shop I wasn't going to do hair anymore. And she goes, if she's not doing it, I'm not either.
Oh my God.
And all the girls went, wait, what? Oh, there was like gasps and like, ah. I knew that I had the power to change everybody's lives at that moment.
Yeah. It was
Not
awesome.
just in the shop, like, I mean, for clients, like, I could have thrown a rock in the pond and just been done. But there was also people in my corner like Hala. Never thought I'd give a shout out to Hala. She took my 3 weekly ladies, who I do once a week, and we're like, you bitches need to get it together. Because they're crying. I mean, obviously they went to my sister as well.
Yeah.
Do you want her here once a week? She talked about quitting her job. Suck it up. And they all did. Every time I saw them, everybody was like,
Sucking the tears back in. Yeah.
I don't like being a victim. I don't like being looked at like a victim. I hate that. Here's another one of my favorite stories. I'm tearing foils and talking about how I hate the way people look at me, right? So I got my back to my client. Shout out to Chris Pro. And I'm tearing foils, and I was like, people just look at me and they got like a tear like hanging in their eye, and they're just like looking at me like I'm gonna explode, and they look. And I was like, I hate it. And I turned around and I was like that, bitch. Like that, I expected better out of you. She's like, we just all love you so much.
Oh my god.
And she's like a tough girl.
Yeah.
She's not a girl.
I
she's
remember
like,
that.
That's probably the one time I've seen her cry. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? She's
Wow.
she's a
Tough as
solid
nails.
person.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knew how much I needed her in my life. But I don't think she's left me.
No.
I can talk to her anytime I want.
That's right.
I get responses to
Hello.
them. Oh, she should take Billy Fingers home.
You should. That's.
Yeah, we're gonna send a book home with you.
I love this book.
Okay. Cool. I love books. Thank you. I'll give it back.
I just feel like chipping away layer by layer. There's something really good to be found in it. Recently I had somebody say to me, not recently, but not that long ago, how can I watch like crime podcasts? Why doesn't that trigger me? I see so much good in it. I see like the families that are trying, and I can identify which family members are okay and which ones are not.
Yeah, you should work for.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
court
Like I could be
system.
like, oh, that one
Fucked
needs
up.
therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just by watching or listening to them be interviewed, like, I'm so interested in people healing themselves and getting better, and I want people to find that. Like, with your 60 viewers, which I love all of you, but like, it's not hitting a huge audience. If our episode, if 4 people watched it, I would still feel better.
Yeah.
Like, even, I mean, literally, if it was just a handful of people that just watch it because they love me
Right.
or are interested in, like, whatever.
I mean, even with Emily, I was like excited that we learned something from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want this to be accessible. I want people to want to use this platform to do shit like this. Like, I want everybody around me to be good. I mean, I have this problem where I think that everybody should just be happy. I've heard about people like breaking up recently, and I'm like, man, I thought you guys were good. Like, and they're like, it's just because you're a happy person that you want everybody to be happy. Like, but I think that it's possible.
Yeah, life's too short to be.
I think it's really fucking possible for all of us to like get our shit together. And I think that if all the people in the gray area got it together, it'd make the bad people more obvious.
Right?
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to keep it together because,
Yeah.
especially like personalities, like my personality pisses off the Dans of the world.
Oh, that's why I never attracted one.
They can't fucking handle it.
I never attracted one because.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's so many people that can benefit from just speaking. Like telling some strangers their frickin' story. It's actually more powerful to tell strangers than people you know, because people you know are just like,
Yeah.
I want you to be all you can be, like beyond me. Like, I want everybody to be all they can be. And when I mentioned this to Elizabeth, I actually offered for her to write Like I didn't think she
Like
was gonna be
on
on
the
camera. Yeah. And she jumped at the chance. And so I feel like this is one of the other feedbacks I had. The fact that you are speaking about it means you've moved on. Not moved on, but you've become stronger. Like I think I sent that to you in one of my.
You did.
I sent. the
Thank
feed.
you for all your beautiful comments.
Right. Just the fact, like, Danielle Bella, shut up. It was
People live for their
their
shout-outs.
shout outs. Well, it's like everybody knows everybody, and like,
It's a small world.
wait, but my world is so like circular with the hair salon and the nails, and like,
Mhm.
it's like everybody knows everybody, and
Yeah, like I worked with Lisa for how many months? It was like, no, it was like over a year, and then we realized we knew you.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then one day, after we already knew, I got my hair cut, then she was getting hers cut. Hey Lisa, I just saw your work, you know?
One of my clients,
So awesome.
speaking of Danielle Bella, one of my clients was divorced twice, started dating that client's dad's best friend.
No way.
And she was like, I heard you do this lady's hair. Who is she? She's dating my dad's best friend who's a widow and I love him. You know, basically like trying to protect him.
Oh, wow.
I was like, who? And she told me, I was like, oh, I love her.
Oh, that's so
And then she was like,
cool.
oh, we have the same hairdresser and yeah, I feel comfortable with it.
Yeah. It's
You're like, wait,
we're good.
if she chose me, that should tell you
Yeah,
right
that's-
there.
Explains everything.
I just, yeah, I want you to do everything that you can be. I'm glad that you feel better. I'm glad that you, I mean, obviously it doesn't erase everything that happened. That's not the point.
No.
The
It's
point
to
is
learn
to
from it.
integrate it into who you are. And
To learn from it and to get stronger from it.
Right. But there's a lot of things that I kind of forgot too, and after speaking about it, it's like everything flooded back in. You know, because I really feel that subconsciously, to cope with life and to get through it, to heal, you try to forget things.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that you try to, it's just subconsciously, so you can move on and not be afraid to leave your house.
but coming up and dealing with it, like we were saying, like the EMDR, like you cut it off from oxygen and shove it down and forget about it. That's not how it dies.
No.
You're
You gotta
feeding
push it out.
Yeah, you gotta, or let it be integrated. You know what I mean? Let it not be one solid mass. Spread it throughout. And this last April was the first April that I went through since I started therapy. Since I started doing EMDR and stuff. So it was like the first anniversary and all of that since then. And I didn't feel like in the pit of my stomach I wanted to just vomit. You know what I mean? Like I felt more of a whole body sadness, like instead of just like that.
Mine was more in my chest and my throat.
I feel like
Mine
it
was
was
stuck
bounced up
here.
and down.
Yeah.
But when it's stuck in your throat and you're speaking about it, I
It's
feel
therapeutic.
like we wanted to talk about it all the time.
Yes. I felt like that.
But you're
And nobody
kind of
else
afraid.
wanted to.
Yes.
Oh, really?
People don't know how to handle it. They look at you like you have a third eye in the fucking middle of your head.
How would you not? That's fucked
You
up.
should. There's no handbook.
Sorry.
There's no handbook, and people don't realize that it is okay to say, I don't know what to say to you, and just hug you.
Oh, okay.
People think that's inappropriate, so they feel like they're supposed to come up with the right words,
True.
and there's not words.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't need a Hallmark card every time somebody is talking to you.
You are not reminding me that they're dead.
No.
You are not re-bringing it up like I forgot. I didn't forget.
Right.
You didn't do this to me. Like, you're not gonna make me cry.
I think part of it is too is that I don't want people to think or to that was one
If
of the
you
things
talk to them, their
about
memory's
them.
still alive.
Yes.
You're still, yeah. Oh,
It means
yeah.
something.
It does.
So when I got the job I have now, the owner used to work at Blonde Ambition. She was an assistant back then. And when I went in, she didn't want to interview me. She told me to come in and check out the place and see if I wanted to work there.
Oh,
Because I already know her, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm bringing
I went to middle school with her.
Oh, okay. So it's just the business
Yeah.
thing. Her mom's in the business.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So I brought her with me, which she already knows her too.
Aw.
So I said something to Kelly, and shout out to Kelly. I said my sister's name, and and she welled up like a weirdo. She got the tear hanging in her eye because they try to hold it.
Yeah.
They try to hold it in. They don't want to start crying in front of you, but you can see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you're gonna have to not do that.
Do that.
I'm going to speak her name and I'm going to talk about her like it's fucking normal. And if you can't handle that, then I shouldn't work here.
Right, because you're gonna see.
I've never seen her cry since.
Yeah.
And she was
No,
like,
she's a sweet girl. She's strong.
but I think that once people realize that I'm not gonna blubber,
Right.
like something happened one day in the parking lot and I came in crying. I don't know what it was. I feel like it was like a memory on Facebook that triggered me or something. Might have been like Siblings Day or something, and I came in crying. And the girls all looked at me like, fuck.
What's happening?
What do we
No,
do?
those girls I wasn't with when it happened.
Oh.
No.
So they were just like, we
What
don't
do I
know what
do?
to do with this at all.
Oh.
Like I came in, I started there in like September, October of 16.
Yep.
And it happened in April of 15.
Yeah.
So they like all knew, but didn't know how to handle me at all, like with a blubbering mess, because
Because they never see you like
I was just
before
like, get your shit together, this is who we are, right?
Yeah.
But I don't cry that hard anymore.
Okay.
I don't cry that hard anymore.
No.
And it's not that I just feel like my pain has eased. It's not that I don't miss her or
That you forgot about the situation.
right, and like the fact of like thinking that Timothy would be 15 and a half,
Yeah.
that chokes
I
me
always
up.
do that when I look at Ethan because they were.
For me,
Same
it's
age.
more if I saw like a tall, thin boy that I would think he would look like.
Yeah. Because Ethan got tall and thin all of a sudden.
Right, but he's not as tall as Timothy would be.
No, Timothy would probably be what?
He'd probably be-
4 inches taller than
He'd
him
probably
right
be
now.
6 foot almost by
Yeah.
now, at almost 16.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's things that make me sad,
Oh yeah.
but there's nothing I can fucking do about it. So
No.
why dwell on the details that pop up in your mind? Why dwell on them when there's nothing I can change about it?
That's right.
I don't want you to like have more memories. Like you're supposed to sit in those memories and like accept it as part of who you are because it has shaped who you are. Thank the universe that you see the lesson in it,
Tell
And-
them to stop.
and then just say, now this one can go away.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Got it now.
I read this book and it was talking about like tapping in. Oh, it's the presence process. I'm such an idiot. Like, you don't know the answer to something. No, nothing to do with any abuse or anything. You know that you've learned this in high school and you're like, wow, I'm really dumb because don't think I am dumb. I can't think of this. Think, okay, universe, send me that answer when you get a second.
Yeah.
Because it's not that it's not there. It's in your brain somewhere, but there's all this other shit going on.
Yeah, it's just filed in the back.
So start to do that with your feelings towards him. Like, I hear it, I see it, I'm integrating it, I'm letting it go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's part of who you are, but it can be filed in the fucking back.
It doesn't define who you are.
Yeah, it can be,
Right.
that memory can just be filed right in the fucking back.
And I feel like doing this helps with that.
Right. Have I talked too much this episode?
No,
this
you're
is
wonderful.
great.
Okay.
Keep going.
You're like, do I, less I have to do. The less I have to do. No, but the last one was really about what you went
The
through,
trauma.
and not all of it. You didn't have to give every detail. Not everybody deserves that information, and
Right.
but it's. I wanted this one to be about. Have you?
The takeaway.
Yeah, the takeaway. Like, what do you do with all this? Like, you. She's really the star of the show. Yeah, I really want you to, I mean, obviously you know this, but like the point of you coming back was to like speak your piece if you had anything more to say and to not be a blubbering mess, because that's what you felt like you were.
Yeah.
She was a
It
little
made no
upset.
sense.
You did make sense.
It wasn't that you didn't make sense.
I'm so sporadic.
Okay, so
I-
But it triggered other things. So when you would say one thing, it would trigger something. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
this is how this started. And
Well,
right.
Yeah, I was trying to like.
you weren't
it was a
prepping
lot.
for this for a long time.
No.
come on,
I
stop.
didn't, I didn't prep at all.
No, right, but we didn't even have it scheduled for that long.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
It
Yeah.
was less than a week.
Yeah, it was less than a week. Yeah.
So between her parenting, working, and within a week we put this together. So she was very raw. And we threw this one together in less than 24 hours.
Right.
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes. But it's getting you somewhere. Whether, and I can see it in your face. I can see it in your text. Like,
Like if this doesn't help anybody else out, at least it helped you out,
right.
Yeah.
which is huge. Which,
Right.
right.
Well, you're welcome back anytime. Welcome back anytime. I want to keep doing this type of thing. Like, I want people to be better. That's the only thing I can think to do is help other people with my random skill set that now includes editing. I want my community to be better because you can't help the world.
No.
So even if this is just targets the 60 people that like watch our podcast on a regular basis,
You're doing your part.
Right.
It takes.
that makes me worried.
It's a
What?
process.
Was I totally?
No, it's Marty. Which we've been going for probably an hour and a half, probably,
Oh,
right?
have we? Okay.
Well, it's almost 6 o'clock,
Oh.
so at least an hour. All right, anything else you want to say? I'll let you have some closing arguments.
Just thank you so much for all the support and all the positive comments.
Even though she's not a part of our community socially, because she can't be, I have,
Yeah.
right, but
When
I,
you're ready,
Hopefully
we're here.
one day. Yeah.
I was trying to keep her in the loop and kind of send some feedback, and you know, I was sending her numbers of views we had, like it's out there, like, you know, this is what people are saying, people are in your corner, and that's big for her to know that people believe her, because she felt so unbelievable.
Yeah, even after taping, I kind of felt like that. I panicked a little, but I don't feel I was really organized with my thoughts. But I wanted it to be just genuine. And
We
it kind of felt it was.
We don't usually prep anything, if you haven't noticed.
This
We
is
kind of
not
just, like,
organized.
fly by the seat of our pants.
The most
Oh.
organized episode we have was Mike, and that's because Mike came prepared.
He had notes.
Typed
and
up.
papers.
I have a copy of them
Yes.
Oh my god.
that he wrote more notes on after he was done. So
Right.
like that was only organized because Mike was the same way as me. I had been preparing for court. I had in my mind been organizing these things because it was going to involve me testifying and
And
like
you had to legitimately.
Yeah.
yes, I was like the first person they were going to call.
Oh
Well,
my god.
Because I performed
She
the
did
well
the call.
call. I
Yeah.
called the police.
Oh,
So I'm there
I
to
didn't
put
know
the
that.
story together.
Right.
So, and I told the cops, like, I'm not talking to nobody till I'm done being pregnant. I'm not fucking with nobody. Leave me alone. So, but that wasn't until, like, the following February, March, when that was all going on. So I was unpregnant, and I was prepared mentally to go in there. I was prepared, and I didn't get to, so what I did was I wrote a very long victim impact statement.
That was powerful.
I have a copy of that if you want to read it.
Oh my god, yeah.
I saved all of that for my children. I have newspaper clippings. I have what I did in court. I would like to print off a couple of those pictures of all of us with the pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Part of me archiving what I'm with this podcast is
For
my
them.
children can listen to this later.
Yeah. See, so I'm glad you, yeah, that's why
And
you
know
got
that
those
I-
recordings.
Yeah, and know that I tried. But those recordings in combination with these recordings,
Yeah.
in combination with everything else you do in your life,
Right.
is going to be her pathway to knowing what to do. So that was like, I wanted my kids to understand,
To protect yourself. You just-
not only that, but why their mother cried all the time. Like,
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to
Oh,
explain
yeah.
to them why I was the way I was.
Yeah.
I know sometimes I always felt like I almost had to explain to people at schools. Like, I'm not always this messed up.
The
like,
first couple years, I told every teacher we had.
I didn't tell all the teachers because I didn't want them to think, or I didn't want their sympathy, or, oh, that's her excuse. I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So I always felt, man, maybe I should have told them because they probably looked at me like a hot mess mother, like she didn't know what the hell she was doing.
So, but you had multiple kids, and by that time, the older ones had multiple classes. Like, they weren't, like, mine was starting preschool the year it happened.
I think Aaliyah was in kindergarten.
Starting preschool the year it happened, our children are the same age, the last one.
Oh yeah, that's
My
right.
first
That's
one.
right.
Yeah.
She was in preschool.
So, I guess the boys weren't that big, but
No, they
you
were
had
in
more
first
teachers
grade.
to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And my kids are super weird. They're just like, yeah, so some people died. You know what I mean? Like,
So they just
Tesla
spit out
uses the
that.
M word.
Oh wow.
We went to Tony's coworkers' property. Tony's cutting trees. We're just kind of hanging out, like in Port Huron, up nowhere. And she's hanging out with the wife, who they have grown kids,
Oh.
so they're a little bit older than us. And so she says to her, "What's that cross on your, what's that on your necklace?" So it's got Jesus on it. So she's trying to like give a PC, like a man in heaven, kind of explanation about Jesus. And she goes, "My mom's got a sister in heaven. She was murdered."
Oh my
This woman comes up to me and goes, "Was your sister murdered?" Because your like 4-year-old or 5-year-old just said that. And I was like, I didn't know she knew that word. Like, we openly talk about them, but I didn't know she used the M word, but it's true.
Yeah.
And this woman's just like, okay.
She
Like,
didn't know what that was.
yeah, nobody knows what to say to that. But the other flip side of that is anybody who's been through this trauma is like, hey, I heard what happened to you, and this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you feel, yeah.
At the time, our coworker, her mother, was working at the front desk, and her mother, as a child, there was a gun in the house, and her little brother picked it up, a tiny child, and killed the mother.
Oh.
And people feel like they could just tell you their trauma once you've had trauma.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, now I'm the person who doesn't know what to say. I'm sorry that happened. Like,
Yeah.
so
Oh
now
my God.
I've learned saying, I have no clue what to say to that, and I'm sorry. And just a hug is more than adequate.
Yeah, that's all people need.
Yeah.
You don't need the right words for any of this.
No, you don't.
You don't, ooh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's cool. It's
You know what's worse though? I hate when people say to you, "Oh yeah, that's happened to me," when it hasn't. Those people.
Well, now if somebody said, I listened to that episode and I was there so many of the same things. You
See?
could take that seriously.
I can take that seriously, but there's people out there who want you to believe that's happened to them, and it's like,
No.
fuck off. You know what I mean?
Right.
There are people.
Because
There are a lot of people this has happened to, but it's like I hate the ones that are like they just want to pump information from you because
see, I would be kind of curious. Have you seen any advertisements for the show Maid on Netflix?
what is it about? Yeah,
MAID.
I
She's
sh-
trying to leave.
Oh,
Now,
you're kidding.
I don't think it would trigger you as much. It's not as bad as you.
It's not.
It ain't
physically.
what happened to you. It's physically, it's not what happened to you at all. It's the little signs. And he's an unhealthy human. Like he was raised unhealthy and things like you can see. You almost feel bad for him at the same time. You can see the dynamic
Gotcha.
of how they just don't work together. It would also probably trigger you because she's got a little one she's trying to protect. But it was really, I felt like it was a powerful story because she just fucking wants better.
Yeah.
She just fucking wants better. And once she makes the decision, she does go back. But in her head, not the whole time, but like, it's the whole story. In her head, she wants better. And as long as you don't lose that, you'll be okay.
Right.
It's really just keeping that eye. Yeah, we might need to wrap this up.
Okay.
We could probably talk all night,
Yeah.
and we probably will continue to, but dogs and babies are not going to allow it. So thanks for joining us again with Elizabeth, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Love you guys.
Wrap.
Thank you.